to you for getting Joey Essex's brain power.
The man is a genius.
Yeah.
He's sort of natural comic genius. He's not who you
a bit
think.
slowly, though, didn't you?
Yeah, well, to get him to think of anything was quite a trick. Actually, no, it's all deceptive. He's actually a Polytechnic lecturer from Hatfield. It's a sort of character that he does. But no, it was brilliant. So what we did is we got Joey's brain waves. Basically, your brain, you know, when you think, you give out a certain kind of brain wave called a beta wave, and when you don't think, you give out these alpha waves. So the idea was to make a car that was just, switched on by thinking, by thought. So he didn't actually have to think about anything. And we found that... it still didn't work. No, we found that actually it worked best when we were rapping. Yeah.
Oh.
I wouldn't want to subject subject you to that.
What
now,
is it
but
about
yeah.
rapping, then, that gets the...
Well, what we found was,
rhythm.
it was just anything. If you just try... There was an interesting side to it, really, which is at one point he put up a photo of his cat, and his cat Prince, and he said, well, I'm going to think about Prince, and then the car will go. But, of course, you get bored, and your mind goes blank, and those are alpha waves, and those are no good for driving the car.
And do you have a project like this in every week in the programme?
We've got loads of things
challenge.
like, So
Let's
it's
just mention the programme, in case you wonder what earth we're talking about. It's called It's Not Rocket Science, and this starts next Tuesday on ITV.
Exactly. So it's like a family entertainment show where we look at the world through a pair of science-shaped glasses.
And those are your co-hosts.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah. So do you have is science your thing from college, or...?
It is, yeah. So I studied it at college. I'm not a professional scientist by any means. I'm more sort of hobbyist, if you know what I mean. It's something that I really love. But I have written a couple of science books, but I'm sort of more... They're more like, if science were football, these are fanzines, really. I'm not...
Yeah, but it's good to make science more popular, isn't it? Because in schools, it's very hard for children to engage with science, and they're always constantly trying to find new ways.
To make it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we're really trying to do is it's entertaining first, but there's always a really great bit of science in there, in everything. So in the Joey Essex thing, it's a lot of fun. Great fun driving around a racetrack with Joey Essex. But there is a serious point there, which is learning about brainwaves and the fact that your brain actually gives off electromagnetic waves. That's an amazing thing.
I can feel them.
As well as the TV series, as well as the TV series, you've got a new book out, haven't you? Tell us a little bit about the book.
This is the book. The aliens are coming.
But they're not really, are they?
I don't want to spoil it, but they're not.
No.
Do you believe in aliens, another planet, and all that sort of
I'm really fascinated by it. I love the story. I love a good ghost story. Has anyone here seen an alien, a UFO?
Apart from us in makeup before.
No. See, this is the interesting thing. I think if you'd asked that question sort of 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, a lot of people would have said yes. But since the advent of the mobile phone, where everyone's got a camera, no one seems to have managed to film any UFOs.
Have you seen one?
A bit like the Loch Ness Monster as well.
Yeah, exactly. That hasn't showed up so
Have
often
you
either.
seen one?
I haven't, no, and I thought... I used to fake them, though, when I was little. I did this thing once, you know, when Polaroid cameras came out, I thought, this is my chance, I'm going to make the news. And I got my fishing rod, and I got a potato, and I covered it in tin foil, and I hung it on a bit of black cotton, and I sort of hung it there, and I sort of took a picture with the Polaroid camera of what I realise now looked like a big potato landing in Nantwich.
Probably would have been just easier to throw a hubcap.
Yeah.
Do you believe in any kind of form of life out there? What do you believe?
I really do. And I think what's really interesting, you take a question like that, does alien life exist? And I really love these entertaining questions. What is the real science? What can real science tell us about that? And the answers are actually really surprising, I think. So we now know a lot about how life started on Earth, and we think that bacterial life might be very, very common. We might even find it on Mars. We might even find it on one of the moons of Saturn or Jupiter. And if bacterial life is common, then somewhere out there is intelligent life that we could maybe receive. Not necessarily here in this studio, but, certainly not sitting in this seat, but intelligent life that we could communicate with. And I think that's fascinating. That's real. That's real science.
Talking about new life, we were talking about the birth of babies. And did you see this guy who, in the papers, who, the baby suddenly came? Were you at the birth of... You've got three children.
I was at the birth of all three children. And that doesn't look easy, I've got to say. At no point did I think that looks like a walk in the park. I just couldn't...
Were you a useful person in the room, or were you a bit...
No, you're not. You're not useful. You're not fulfilling any useful function, but you have to be there.
Yes.
To be abused, firstly, but also to witness what your partner's going through. I mean, you know, I think
and it's
although
not a science experiment.
it's
Not rocket science.
it is very real, and I can't believe there's not a better design. We need to work on that.
We said it's not rocket science. Is next Tuesday on ITV, and the book The Aliens Are Coming is out now. Ben Miller, everybody. Thank you. For more Loose Women action, click here. And I'd subscribe if I were you. It's totally free, and it means you'll be kept up to date with new videos and exclusive YouTube content. Well, she's hardly got her tongue down his throat.